What it do, YouTube? It is your sensei. I'm making a video for you to save money, and this is only for you trying to save money. When you're making your first build in NBA 2K26, there's a couple of things you need to know. First things first, unless you are going to dig deep in your wallet, you need to make a build that's going to be viable at 75 and 85, depending on how much VC you get when you play this game from the very beginning. Now, if you want to play competitively with your friends, I don't suggest walking out anything less than the 75 for the first 2 weeks. But hey, you do you. Now, if you're big money bags over there, you spend all your money on 2K, then this video isn't for you. Then you can hop it out, leave a like, but this is for everybody else. Now, everybody's making build videos. You're going to see nothing but build videos from creators from far and wide. Everybody's going to tell you what's OP, what's not OP. But what they're not going to do is think about your wallet and think about you being at level 85 or level 84 or level 82, depending on how much VC you got, because they know they're not going to be there. They're going to spend $200 to $300 on VC, just make $1 million VC for their characters and just keep it in the, in the piggy bank, and they good. So let me help you out. Let's look at a couple of examples of what viable looks like in the 80s, so you can understand what's going to be max, what can't be max, and it'll give you a better understanding. I got two examples here from two different creators. I got Joe Knows and I got River. I want you to give shout out to both these creators. I took this off their Twitches when I was watching the stream. I watched a lot of 2K, so I want to make sure I do what I was talking about. So the first video I want to bring up here is going to be Joe Knows build. Now let's go into Joe's build for a second here so we can see. Now Joe's finishing, he went and maxed out his driving dunk. The very first thing he could do was max out his driving dunk. So he got his driving dunk as high as he could. He's an 88 overall. This is when he's able to go to 89. His mid-range, his original stats was driving, mid-range was at an 83. That's his max. His ball handle, his speed ball, his passing, his defense was super low, as you can see here on the screen. And his physicals, he's still upgrading his physicals. He's at 88 and he's still upgrading his physicals. His speed is only at 80. To let you know how expensive these builds are, and you need to be tactical about where you spend your money. So in the 80s, you can have a max 90 stat and some max 80s. You can max out basically like 2 or 3 different sections, but that's pretty much it. I mean, technically, I guess his rebound is max, but it's 75. And his stamina is max, but we all know stamina is the lowest, cheapest thing in the game to buy. So this to give you a good example of just like how, you're not going to be like, if you have 2 max 90s, you're gonna have a bunch of stuff like low 80s and 70s. Like, it's just pretty much going to show itself. And we have another example of that. I have another build that I want you guys to see, and I think it's a good example. It's from River. Now River, this is River. She went and maxed her mid-range to 90, right? She maxed her mid-range to 90, and she has a 82 interior. It goes up to 80, 88. She has an 84 block. She maxed out her rebounding, her 80s, and everything else is sitting in the mid 70s, trying to get up. Like 3-pointers, trying to get there. The dunks, close shot, none of that's even close. None of the playmaking stuff. Like, this is what it's going to look like for you if you do 90s. If you like trying to bank on 90s, and expect a little bit lower, honestly, if you're going to bank on the 90s for stats, just know that. Like, no, that's what you're gonna have to think about. So when you're making your build, the first couple of choices you're going to have to make is going to have to be about like what's value. What stats are value? It might be, you might honestly be an 80 overall with a 93, 90 playmaking and just speed, and that's the best you can do. Or you can be an all-arounder and keep everything to 80s and hope for the best. Like, that's kind of the situation you're in when you're putting your VC into your first build. You want to make a build that's going to shine. She's at 84, she has a 90 mid-range. That lets you know that you can get a 90, and she got 85 and 84 max. And we've seen the Joe, he had a bunch of 80s and he had his 93 dunk. So you can get some stats in 90, but Joe also had to keep upgrading that. That dunk wasn't 93 until he actually hit his cap breaker. Was that? Well, he capped up from 85 to 86 and 87. So you see he was still upgrading it. So you see that it's going to dig in deep to your overall for you to actually do something at a higher than 90, or to have stats like higher maxed up. Max stats seems to be where the game starts increasing the VC value. So you either want a mid-max for, like, I don't know, say if you want to save some money, you're looking at Rivers build, say you want to save some money, you set a mid-range of 90, you do that mid-range like 88. That way the interior defense can probably get to 85. Or that still can get to 73. You know, some you want to do some kind of mid-max, and that's pretty much all it is right there. That's everything I wanted to tell you guys. I want you guys to see, because realistically, you gotta stay at your value level and get the most out of your build. I don't want to see no one unsuccessful. I don't want to see no one not able to play this year, and I don't want nobody wasting VC. So that's the whole video. Hopefully this is helpful to you. If it was, drop a like. If it wasn't, that's cool too. I'm just over here yapping, but I'm just trying to see people do well. So that's it. Thank you guys, and have a good video. Peace. Oh, I said have a good video, not have a good day.